know everybody's probably sleeping. I really just wanted to get on here and test my microphone. And see if I figured out the audio. What's up, living off scrap? RTJ Jones? RT Jones? Is that like a Dodge RT? Good morning from Finland. Dag. What's up, Adam? Albert? Yeah, I picked up some wire today, as you can see back here. And what's up, John Daly? Mickey Mouse? What's up, AK Productions? Derek Wright, what's up, dude? So I picked up some wire today, and I really wasn't even going to strip it, but I found a bunch of settings in the StreamYard thing, and I had like the thing set to cancel out the background noise. So I turned it off. 6:21 in the morning. Oh, hey, Mom. I didn't think you'd be up this late. So I got some nuggets. We definitely gonna strip everything in that drum. And a whole pile of spaghetti here. I'll kind of mill through that. Like this size wire here. This is where I like to call it. Like anything thinner than this, I'm not really interested in stripping. You know, solid core maybe if I feel like I'm in the mood. But you know, there's a bunch of this size wire in here. We'll just let the machine rip it out of there. What's up, Big Country Scrapping? You don't sleep well? Me neither. I'm usually up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning every night, you know, and then I'm up early. And, you know, I go hard all day long. So it's very rare that I get like a proper 8 hours of sleep. And then a lot of times, like I have to sleep with like I gotta watch something that basically keeps my mind entertained. Otherwise, I'll just sit there like staring into the darkness, and everything that I've ever wanted to do will just run through my mind, and I won't sleep. So anyway, man, I can't believe all you guys are up this late. Although it's like 11:24 here in South Florida. I guess it would only be like 10, 9, 8 o'clock on the West Coast. Our number 2 copper is 3. Wait a minute, where'd that go? 3:30 here in Tallahassee. I think I'm getting like 350 for number 2 copper. I got some prices today. I'm getting 385, I think, for bright and shiny. I think I was getting I got it written down. It's either 375, I think, or I'm sorry, 275 for the insulated wire. Now, I bought this wire on the west coast of Florida. It's 824 in Northern California. Dag. In 1 week, how many copper donuts can I make? I haven't made a proper copper donut in a long time, man. It depends, man. There'll be weeks where I don't buy any wire, and then there'll be weeks where I buy wire like every other day, you know. But this wire, I went to the West Coast today. Took me 2 hours and 20 minutes to get where I was going. And I got my doors open over here, so we got kind of a it's that time of night when the skeeters like to come out. Fart Stack Jack, it's 10:30 in Illinois. Dan Man, the dealer man. What's up, dude? Over there in the West Coast, I don't know why it's like this, but it's literally like $1 less a pound. Every time I go over there, I'll call some local yards, like as closest to where I'm at. And it always shocks me how low the prices are, man. It's crazy. It's literally like $1 less a pound. I'm your role model. Thanks, man. Keep at it, dude. I don't think I scrapped that much. Well, I'm not really a preferred customer. Where I go, I'm probably one of their smallest customers. The place I sell to in Miami, they buy it from industrial places, and they buy from scrap yards. So they're looking to buy 30,000 pounds plus at a time, or a whole tractor trailer load. They own 2 scrap yards that they basically sell to themselves. One in Delray Beach and one in Pompano, formerly Pompano or Powerline Scrap. Both of them now are called, I believe it's Sun City Scrap. But they basically sell to themselves, and they don't buy from the general public. It's so funny when I go there, I see people all the time. They'll pull up with like a bunch of stuff in the back of the truck, and the guy, he's funny. Like sometimes if he's in a good mood, he'll buy the stuff, or if it's like copper or something, he might entertain it. But most of the time, it's the craziest thing, man. You would never think someone would turn down scrap, but he sends them to the guy down the corner, which the guy down the corner basically sells to him anyway. So he's going to buy it, but just not, that dude down there ain't got time to deal with every guy, in a pickup truck coming through. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm harassing them with the little bit of crap I bring them. And someone's out back revving an engine. What else we got here? How long since you was scrapping at the house? I mean, watching for a while. Dude, March, I literally am renewing my lease this year. They jacked my rent up another $300. So now I'm at $5,513. I started out at $3,700, which at the time I thought was a ridiculous amount of money. And in 3 years, I went from 37 to 5,513. But that'll be 3 years, March 1st, since I've been at the house. What's the smallest AWG you don't strip? What is the price do you get for insulated wire? Does that go for transformer wire? Normally, I don't strip the transformer wire because it's just a bunch of small pieces, and it's going to be number 2 copper. I just sell it as number 2 insulated. I used to chop it with my granulator, but pretty much this, like I just said, like this wire I'd strip. This wire I probably wouldn't. I don't know if you can tell the difference in size there. Okay. This is, to me, it's worth stripping. This this just gets tedious. Now, if it's on a spool, I got a whole drum, that orange or yellow drum back there is full of a bunch of spools. Probably some of it's that size wire. The spools go really, really fast. So I'll probably just strip all the spools. And I gave a huge tear weight. I didn't know how much all the spools weighed, and I wasn't going to sit there and like weigh them. So whenever I buy spools, I know the plastic, usually it's like a pound or less for the spool of plastic. That wooden thing, maybe 3 pounds, 4 pounds, so I'll just give a tear weight in my favor. Plus, I drove to the West Coast. The dude knew that. And, so, but I gave him a really good price compared to what they, I gave probably 20, 25 or 30 cents more a pound than he would have got local. And he didn't have to do nothing. I showed right up to his house. He actually works from his house. It's one of my original customers. Matter of fact, this customer I went to, it's probably 15 years since I knew him. God bless him. He just, he survived. He had a heart transplant. I hadn't heard from him in a while. I seen him on Facebook, like in the hospital. The dude had a heart transplant, which is crazy. And thank God he pulled through. He actually went this weekend. I think he went hunting for the first time since his heart transplant. But I show up right at his place, and he used to have a business, and he got tired of dealing with renting, which I'm in the same place. He's got like my dream property, man. He's probably on, I don't know, 10 or 15 acres, maybe 20 acres, huge lot. And it's nice, and it's a nice ride out there, man. Sometimes I like just going over there. It's like a break for me, man. Just riding out, listen to different things on the, I listen to YouTube and see, just chill out. What's going on there? 366 a pound for 1/16 or bigger for number one. Number one insulated is $3.66. What? Number two copper is 327 in San Diego. We're at 340 for number two. That's a pretty good price, man. 391 for number two copper. Where's that at? Could you build a building cheaper than rent? Seems very hard. Yeah, the problem is I need a piece of property. Now, I'm looking at property right now, and down here in South Florida, it's crazy, man. You're not going to get anything decent for under like $400,000. It's just insane. And if you want something that's already set up with a shed, I mean, we've been looking at properties anywhere from $600,000 to $1 million, and it's crazy. But we're talking between 10 and 20 acres. Me and my other half want to basically go off grid and live off the land. And what do we got here, man? Someone donated $20. Love your channel and ordered a t-shirt. Thanks, Brian. Hey, when did you order a t-shirt? Like recently? Did you already get it? I gotta check. I haven't had any orders come in the past couple days, so that's a big house payment. Yeah. $5,500 and you can't turn the forklift around in the shop. Yeah, it's sad, dude. It's crazy. And my last shop was bigger than this. I didn't have as much parking though in my last shop, but inside was pretty much wide open. If you go back and look at my first couple videos all the way up until I started working from home right around COVID, that's why I left my shop. COVID hit, like everything was slowing down. Like, I didn't know what was happening. I was like, man, they wanted me to redo my lease. They were going to jack it up. Copper price for Roma or copper is $404 in Kansas. That's crazy. Oh, you ordered it a while ago? Okay. We all want to be off good. Yeah, F the government. Oh, man. I really got to get on. I can't be bringing certain things up on this channel. I got to get on that other channel because, I'm always looking into things. And, man, I found out a lot of very interesting things about the government, how it really works, how the government's really funded. If you actually think that your taxes go to fund government, be lucky if like 1 or 2% actually fund government. The way they fund government is actually, it's diabolical almost what they've done. And it's crazy. All right, let me just check my audio real quick. Make sure I got the things shut off. Yeah, there was this thing that's called reduce mic background noise. And I think that's why every time I fired that machine up, it was cutting out. But let's aluminum cans are $1 a pound? What? That's more than extrusion down here, man. I thought aluminum was like dirty. Dirty stuff. How's making my own foot, man? Dude, I'm about to order something for that. And I'm torn between two different things. But it's going to be the proper way to do it. It's going to be like a lifetime. It's going to be a one-time purchase thing. And if I don't get it this month, I'm going to use like my next YouTube check to buy it. You love the Free Human Project channel, Brian? Yeah. Yeah, I got to get back on that. And Joe S., how it's a private corporation. Yeah. And a lot goes along with that and how the law really works and what they've done. All right, let's strip some wire real quick. I wonder if I can get this. I should have moved this thing out of the way. Let me see here. Whenever I pick up wire, I always try to sort it right away of stuff that I know for a fact I'm going to strip compared to stuff that is going to be possibly stripped. But over here, it's not much on there, but we'll definitely strip that. We got a bunch of spools. I don't even get it sometimes with these electricians. If it gets down to like half a spool, they just get rid of that stuff, man. Now, Most of this stuff should strip pretty easy. I think I mentioned in another video about something happening in the machine. We got to give that a little bit more pressure. And I think what happened in the machine is it probably wasn't meant to be dragging the copper up into it, so it wore out some parts prematurely, I think. But I still stripped like a couple miles. Wait till you see this video. Me and Oliver were stripping in here one day. That's interesting. My belt is slipping on this side now. That belt usually never slips. This thing is cranked down kind of hard. This wire is a little bit bigger than that other wire. I'm trying to strip all the biggest stuff first. That might be a problem. This is exactly why I don't have guards on the machine. That's what I'm talking about there. Piece of that first wire was jammed in the outlet type area. And just made it like really. Did that blow out the mic again? Yeah, you can't wait for upgrades on that stripper. I got some big thick aluminum plates I've been saving to upgrade this thing. It's definitely time. I'm just gonna. I have to probably just make a whole new one. Need my knife. Where's my knife at? I was using that thing in that last live stream. These are my two favorite tools. Let's see if I can't get a little closer. It did get quieter when I turned the machine on. That sucks. Man, you should have seen where I pulled this wire, man. This stuff was buried in the grass. Look at that. One pass. That's why I love this machine. Okay. Whoa. The wrong hole. That wire is much thicker. Copper King 2.0 going to have a reverse button on it. different size wires right here. We're about down maybe this wire. Once it gets down to a certain size, that's when I got to put the spacer in the backside and move down to the roller where it flattens it on the backside, because it'll cut the top of these, but it's not going to split it. Now it'll cut it and I can peel it, but if I set this up, it'll pretty much crush it to the point where I'm not peeling it hard. It's basically just falling off. This is like the last bit I can run through here. Yeah, those didn't even peel. I gotta turn a fan on real quick. Man, we had like a couple weeks of decent weather. And can you guys hear that fan? Maybe the wire strip will help you sleep. Joseph, how much would it cost to set up a shop like mine? For scrapping, stripping, or you talking about all the presses and everything? Look at my mic when I speak. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got most of my stuff just happenstance and bartering, and like the 55-ton Ramco that I have that 100-ton cylinder in, which is kind of crazy. I bought that for $50 from my old boss when I cut concrete. I've had that press just as long as I had my other press, but for years. I just was sitting out back. I didn't do anything with it. I did buy that original press. It started off its life as a 20-ton Harbor Freight press, and I was using a 20-ton air over hydraulic Harbor Freight jack, but I was blowing the air motors up left and right. I swapped out to, I have a high dollar Enerpac cylinder, a 25-ton Enerpac cylinder, and I have a high end made in America, 10,000 PSI. The pump that I run that thing on, I use the same pump to run the 100-ton cylinder. That's a very expensive. I mean, you're talking, I think that guy said that was like $3,000 or $4,000 just for the pump. And then the cylinder, the Enerpac cylinders are not cheap. That cylinder is probably $1,000. I know the 100-ton cylinder is like $7,000. I got that off of eBay for $800 used. Like my big table, my 4x10 steel table, I got the steel plates for free. I actually had a bunch of them. My old landlord sold all my steel. I had all the steel I needed to build the Stator wrecking machine, and the dude sold the shit out from underneath me. We had it stored at his job. When he got, the reason we've got a shop is because he got in trouble for having trailers and shit everywhere. Like what you seen at that house was nothing. The other side, he had stuff like stashed in the bushes everywhere. And the city came by one day and told him he had to move all the trailers off the property. And he had campers and boats, four-wheeler trailers, jet skis laying out in the lawn. Like it was crazy over there. I would always clean stuff up. I'd clean his stuff up so it didn't look as crazy, his stuff and my stuff. But I had a bunch of steel. We moved over to, I'm talking big I-beams, 3/4-inch steel, big welding tables. And we had them in this cage. And the first couple months I was in here, I kept asking him, I was like, hey, man, do I need to come get my stuff? Nah, man, it's cool. It's cool. Nah, it's cool. It's cool. You know, you can leave it here. It's safe there. And then one day I went over there and pretty much everything was gone. Everything was cleaned out, gone. My stuff and the stuff that he had there. So I don't know what he did with it, but thousands of dollars worth of, like, to replace that steel plate, it's $1,000. Well, that probably more than that. 1/2 inch. I got a quote. What was it? $1,100 for a 4x8 1/2 inch steel plate. You know, and then this table I built. This is 2 big 8-foot long I-beams. I don't know where, I don't remember where I got the steel, but I got it through scrap. So I built the table. I built that second press. The wire stripper I paid $250 for, but it was in pieces from one of my customers. The strip tech I paid $500 for. That's both of those are like $3,000 units. So I didn't pay full price for them. My air compressors, the one I'm using right now, I got for free. I paid $500 for the 220 single phase Ingersoll Rand. I paid $1,000 for my big 3-phase 7.5 horse Ingersoll Rand. And as you'll see coming up, I just got a single phase 220 motor for that thing. But I paid $1,000 for that and my set of torches that are sitting right here. These torches, these big bottles, all kinds of tips, Victor cutting torch tips and everything, you know. The jaws I got off eBay. Some of them I paid $300 for. The spreader I paid like $700 for. But if you had to buy all that stuff new, oh my God. You better have deep pockets, man. And I didn't acquire all this stuff overnight, man. I mean, like, this is like, I've been working for myself for, gosh, it's got to be 15 years now, maybe. And when I started out, I had a little Weld Pack 100 welder, a little rigid air compressor, and a basic set of hand tools, you know. And then every time I'd make money, like I don't smoke. I used to smoke weed, but I quit doing that when I started working for myself. So any money I get, I basically buy tools with, you know, and yeah. But if I could do one thing in scrapping, I do nothing but break down transformers all day. Unfortunately, they're going away. Even the big transformers, they actually better recovery than the small ones. But if I could do copper transformers all day, I wouldn't even worry about copper wire, electric motors, stators, none of that stuff, man. Transformers, where is that? Yeah, so something's up. Probably the mic is probably doing this thing. And I think I can put this mic to where it picks up the whole room. There's like a bunch of settings on it. It focus, side, back. I don't know. I got to work on that. Good morning from Belgium. What's up, man? Good background sleeping audio. Yeah. Have you ever thought about bringing a small wire stripper with you on pickups? Strip the wire on site and bring it to the scrap yard instead of bringing it to the shop? Man, my customers, I don't like to bother my customers. When I show up at my customers, man, I'm trying to be in and out, and I try to inconvenience them as little as possible. I don't need to be stripping at their place or, you know, pulling around the corner and stripping on the side of the road. I mean, I could. I have thought about that, but this isn't something I want to be lugging around, man. That stripper's heavy, dude. And I used to have another piece of equipment that I would bring out with me. And what I found is they just get banged up when you bring stuff out and about, you know, and then you're dealing with down here, we get a lot of rain. But yeah, when I had the box trailer, I thought about running the stuff through there. Kind of like when I would break the lights down on site, I'd process everything except for the transformers, because transformers is loud. Like, you probably never hear how loud that really is. There's a reason I wear earmuffs. It's like standing in front of a gun going off, basically. You were expecting to come here and someone not have clothes on? Yeah, I was going to put, we're having a late night stripping party. Is my shop even something that's purchasable, or have, is my shop even something that's purchasable, or have you custom made a lot of these pieces? Pretty much everything I got's custom made. Like, you could buy those wire strippers. That's Strip Tech. It's a Strip Tech Model 1000. They have bigger ones and smaller ones. That particular one's like $3,000. That other wire stripper, you can find them online. Like I think it's Blue Dog or something. And Copper Mine has a similar one. That's a Chinese made one. But the transformer presses, that's something you're going to have to make. And the stator wrecker, you can buy, they do sell electric motor recycling machines. And I get people sending me them all the time. I've seen them all of them, man. You're not going to send me a stator wrecking or electric motor recycling machine that I haven't seen. Okay. The reason why I'm trying to do this style is because there's one out there that is more versatile than all of them and is the only one that can handle monsters. Okay. All those other ones require you to somehow physically pick the things up and put it into the machine or move it from one part of the machine to the other. And I mean, it can be done with either a forklift or, like a hoist, but the capacity of the machine, you wouldn't have that 8,000 pound stator I broke down and chained to the front of this thing. They wouldn't have been able to process that. It would have had to been that one. The one guy sent me the picture with it was just like a shaft they put through it, and they had 2 hooks, and they were just yuking the bars down. I don't even know if that would have worked for that, because it wasn't solid bars. It was like 4 pieces, and then on top of it, like 4 things wrapped up, and on top of it, another 4th ring. I cooked those big stators. I soaked them in red diesel for like 3 days, and I let them go one night, okay? And then it got late. I just let it go out. I went out there, hosed it down. I looked at it. Yeah, it cooked a lot of stuff off of it, but some of that paper, man, it didn't even penetrate. The heat didn't even get in there, man. It was crazy. Hey, what's up, Frank? Yeah, dude, I was going to drop a video today, but I drove to the West Coast. When I got back, I fell asleep in my office. I got a really comfortable couch, and it's like, I bought it so I wanted to have guests on my other channel and interview people and just have discussions. And, man, I'll be out here working, and I'll go in there and sit in the AC or whatever. I'll sit down and eat lunch and just conk out for an hour or 2. Oh, man. What's up, Alan? Thanks, dude. I am well. I hope you're all doing well too. Mate, are you from Australia, Alan? Have fun with your movie, dude. Joseph. You have the same wire that I have. That you're the one that bought the Brad. You're the guy that got the Model 1000. Brad Smith. You got a piece of 7-inch plate you used to help tear down elevators. Dag, dude. I wish I had a big steel plate like that. I think I'm just going to have to buy. I think I have to bite the bullet, man, and go buy a steel plate. I had a nice 4x8, 3/4 inch thick plate I was going to put at the end on the other side, and then mount the Stator wrecking machine is actually going to get mounted over there. And then I'm going to modify the transformer press. It's going to be a dual function setup going forward. Once I move that over there, I'm going to have that set up to where I can use it to pull the copper out. I'll have the big press set up for cracking and splitting. You haven't even seen. I haven't even put the cracking blade. I paid like $700 for that cracker blade. That's another thing, man. I don't even know what it would cost to build the Stator wrecker. I think those 55-ton presses are like $2,000 or $3,000. That one's a Ramco made in the USA, 55 tons, and it's holding up pretty well with that 100-ton cylinder in there. There was only one time when I broke the tip. I swear I was watching that blade like it was bending. It was, man. It was the first time the 10,000 psi pump went in the low gear, and that 100-ton cylinder was just creeping down. It didn't stop it. It was creeping down the whole time. But man, it just looked dangerous. Like I'm going to take some of that hockey arena plexiglass, that 1/2-inch thick plexiglass I have, and I'm going to make like a shield that I can like fold up or fold down, or maybe, yeah, it's going to have to be folded on like an angle. But it definitely needs some shields because that is dangerous. What's the favorite tool machine you have? The jaws are great all around, but the Copper King prints money. Yeah. I mean, that's a tough one because the transformer press, like that was like my baby, man. And when I built that, I mean, probably, how long have I been on YouTube? 4 years. So probably for the first 10 years, I didn't let nobody see that thing, man. Nobody knew what I was doing. Nobody knew I was buying transfer. There were, like, when I first started, all the electrical contractors down here were basically throwing them in the garbage. So it was easy kind of getting customers because of what I was paying for them. But that machine, man, that's like my first, it's like your first child. But probably that and the wire stripper are like close because I always wanted that style wire stripper, and the way I came about that thing, like it just kind of fell in my lap one day. And yeah, but the Stator wrecker, that's getting up there. When that's done, there's a whole nother function, and it's not the cracker. There's a whole nother function to that I need to finish that you guys haven't even seen, dude. It's incredible what that thing's going to be able to do when I'm done with it. You want to talk about busting motors open fast? This thing is going to be on a whole nother level, dude. Maybe one day I'll show a clip of. I wonder if I could bring that up and put it on here. Do you guys like to see what I'm trying to what I'm actually trying to replicate? Let me catch up on these questions. Oh, what's up, Silverlicious? Oh, you're from England, Alan? Did I miss someone? What's up, Jay Walter? I don't know what you did here, but it came. Oh, you're driving, dude. Stay safe, buddy. He's been a member for 7 months. I appreciate that. I'm new to Anthony White. What's up from Arizona, dude? I'm new to scrapping world. I've only been scrapping for a month now and have a little over 220 pounds of scrap copper. You were a big reason I started. Thank you. That's awesome, dude. Man, keep hustling, dude. You can definitely make some money if you get into the right thing. Like I'm a problem solver. I'm medical. TCal. Are you ever worried about the city in South Florida with burning those big stators? Well, I really don't burn. I've only burnt the one big one. And then that one time before I was able to split the stators, I did burn that one. We cut the backside off and the machine wouldn't pull it. So we did burn it in the back of the shop here. But no, I mean, like, you're allowed to have bonfires in West Palm Beach. It ain't no different. It's not like we're burning plastic or anything. What's up, Ryan? It's all good, man. I've been hustling. Sliced rice. Dude, what's up, man? I got a bunch of videos. I got to meet up with my editor. Probably like 4 videos I got, and I got some videos coming, man. Some cool stuff. Some more big boys. Strip some big wire. Let's see here. Did you see they make a jaw that runs on power tool batteries? Yeah, all the brand new stuff that the fire departments have, it's all cordless. They've gone to cordless, and I think they cranked it up to like 10,000 psi. I think you should really consider making a stator shield just in case your puller rips it out towards you. I'm not really worried about it coming out of the machine like that, and honestly, if the hydraulics are pulling that hard, it pulls it out. I don't think, like, it would have to be like a steel cage, something serious. I'm more worried about, like, the splitting part of it, the blade cracking or whatnot. But I got something in the works for that, man. I got a ton. Someone gave me a ton of thick angle iron. I'm going to build a purpose splitter. It's going to be, I'm probably going to make, I'm going to make it so that I can put a bigger blade in it, but I'm going to make it, it's going to be kind of smaller to take that size blade and maybe one twice as big as that. And then I'm going to have a bigger dedicated with a monster blade. I got that big, giant 3-foot steel disc back there. I'm going to just cut a V in it and bevel it out and figure out how we can split some monsters with it. Brad Smith, you bought a DeWalt electric pruner for stripping wire. Huh. No, I didn't see the Jacksonville dude cutting the driver out. Yeah, man, it's starting to get hot back there. Man, we had a couple nice, good, cool weeks, and now it's starting to get hot. Jesse James, you're up in Jacksonville? I got a friend that's up in Jacksonville. Did I get the tools yet? Frank, my editor, lives out there by my mail. My mailbox is like 35, 40 minutes west of me. And that's exactly where my editor lives. So they get all my mail and boxes and whatever. They have it. It's in their truck. They're probably going to come by tomorrow with it, and I'll make a video on it. It's 6:20 p.m. here Wednesday, the 26th. It's 12:22 in South Florida. From what I've seen, I believe you offer people a fair price for the copper you get. Well, I match the local yards, you know? Like a lot of my customers, like these, these electricians are not dumb people. They'll call around and they'll call me up and then like, hey, how much are you paying? And I got to give them a correct price, Usually I either beat the local markets or I match it right even. So used to live Oakland Park Boulevard. That's right down the street from where I stay with my girlfriend. Right off of A1A in Atlantic, basically. Which is nice because literally right over the 95 is the gun range we go to. How far am I from any alligators? Shit, man, it's South Florida. If there's water, there's gators. Like, you got it, man. You don't, down here in Florida, you don't just go into any water. That's crazy. There's most likely a gator somewhere. Man, you can go out to the Everglades where they launch the airboats and just sit there, man. There'll be 20, 30 gators, 40 gators. I'll make a video one day. I'll go out somewhere. I made years ago. Oh man, I wonder what happened to that video. I had a video of me walking up to the edge of the water. There's a couple gators sitting, I don't know, 6, 7 feet, less than 10 feet in the water. And I was smacking the water with my foot, right? And gators, they react to like movement. They were completely still until the waves hit them. As soon as them waves hit them, they started moving forward towards me. It's kind of crazy. You used to fish off the Hillsborough Inlet and the pier. Well, I'll tell you what. I lived in Deerfield when I first moved to Florida. I lived literally on the island right next to the pier. I regret moving. That was one of the coolest places I've ever lived. Pompano was kind of always like a shithole. Their pier was grimy. It was just old, like old. Everything was run down. A lot of vacant lots and stuff. My girlfriend moved over there, and I went over there to help her, and then we go to get lunch, and I'm looking around. I'm like, it's probably been 10 years since I've been over that area. There was nothing like I've been there like twice back in the day, and I'm like, man, this place is a shithole. I ain't never coming back here. I'd drive right through. Well, I was walking around, and I'm like, man, they put some money into fixing that place up. The pier there, the Pompano Pier, is nicer than the Deerfield Pier. Now, Deerfield Beach is a nicer overall beach, I think. But the what they've done at the Pompano Pier is top notch, man. Really nice. Do I like the fish? Not really. Honestly, I don't like the smell of fish. And I won't eat fish out at restaurants. I'll eat it if it's caught fresh right there and we eat it within a couple hours. I'll eat fish, but I'm not big on fishing. Um, there was something I was going to do. Oh, let me see if I can. Let me just see if I can do this. I hope I don't end the stream. um, let's see here. How do I put a new window? That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to show you guys. It's late night. You usually, like, there's certain things I like to keep a secret, but since y'all on here in the middle of the night with me, let's see if I can find this video. Now, when I came across this video, now I had been searching for months on the internet, right? Looking for, I kept asking, man, how are they recycling these big motors? And, oh man, you know, when you want to find something, it's just not going to be there. YouTube is funny, man. They show you certain things, and then they're not showing me what I want. I want to see all. Nice junk. I like when that guy saved me from blowing myself up one day. He was on my live stream. Oh, that's another thing. I always forget because I do these live streams like last minute. Like, I'd like people to get on here with me. Like, even other channels, get on here and promote yourself, man. Maybe get some new subscribers. Tell me what's going on. Matter of fact, what other channel? Like, what's your other favorite scrapping channels? I'm probably subscribed to all of them. Every scrap. If I see someone that's got a scrapping channel, I'll subscribe to it and I'll check out some of their videos. But I don't necessarily watch a lot of scrap because not only do I do it every day, but I'm editing my own videos all the time. So I'm like burned out on looking at scrap. Okay, here we go. All right. Let me find. In a world where the elites sip water pride. Now, I found this video. It looks like it was shot with a freaking toaster or something. It's so grainy. But immediately, I seen this and was blown away by what this guy had going on. All right, I found it. Let me see if I can. Whoops. I'm going to have to screen share this somehow. I don't know if I can do this. Hopefully I don't drop the stream. All right. Do I remember the video of the turtle and the alligator? Oh, yeah, me and my brother. This is hilarious. My brother came down. I guess he likes to fish. I'm not big on fishing, but he came down to visit. I took him out to the Everglades to fish, and he's out there fishing or whatever, and he's not catching nothing. And just arrogantly, kind of was like a joke. I'm like, man, let me see that. Let me show you how this is done. And I like whipped the thing way down the canal. I mean, that thing was just singing, right? And immediately it snagged on something. My brother's looking at me like, you idiot. And so we just stuck the pole there, and we turned around, and we were kind of watching this Chinese guy. He was on the bank fishing, and way down the way there was a gator coming up the bank, or the canal. And then it started raining. So I grabbed the fishing pole and I put it straight out, and I was just going to break the line. I started cranking it and I was pulling it. Well, what were we using? We were like using raw chicken or something. All of a sudden, as I'm pulling, I thought the thing was about to break the line, and it freed up, and I could feel something tugging. I'm like, oh crap, man, something. What happened was, when I threw it out there, dag snapping turtle grabbed my chicken right away. So I did catch something. I showed my brother how it was done. That's how we do it in South Florida. So we start reeling it in, and then, we're watching the Asian guy or Chinese guy on the other side we're on a bridge that's over the canal, and the gator's coming down. The Chinese guy got scared, so he ran up the bank. Well, that gator, I guess, sensed or seen the turtle was flailing around and on my line. That thing came up under the bridge, grabbed my turtle, and was fighting me, and then kind of started swimming off, and I'm like jerking it, and then it finally just snapped the line and swam off with my turtle. But we got the whole thing on film. It was actually pretty cool. Merchant Metals will go on with me. That's that guy's got a whole scrap rig. He built the transformer press kind of like mine, and he's got a setup, man. Empire of Dirt that dude. Empire of Dirt has a solid AC compressor recycling setup, and I'm going to take kind of what he has. All right, let's see if I can do this. Screen share. Window. I guess I'm going to have to share my entire screen. Hold on. I guess I gotta turn this on. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work. It was asking me I have to restart the computer or something. You know what? I could do it a different way. I'm trying to open another tab here. Am I going to try and get some customers that have AC scrap? Yeah. But my ultimate goal, I was thinking about when I used to do the transformers and the amount of customers I had and the route I had and going all over the state to pick these things up. I want to gear myself up to just pick up Gaylords from the scrap yards. I want to be the guy that people sell, that the scrap yards sell the AC compressors to. That's what I'm trying to do. And in order to do that, I'm going to need to open those things up really fast. And I got something that I'm going to modify to do that. And the other part of that is the stator wrecking machine. I gotta have a dedicated, and the small blade that I have will split most of those. I just need something with enough stroke. I need a dedicated setup for splitting, something that just one guy can sit there and split all day long. And I need a dedicated setup for pulling. And that's what I'm working on. And once I have that, like right now, this machine will do it all. And that's my goal, like to have this machine be able to do it all. But I'm going to need dedicated setups like my transformer press. That first press is dedicated to do one thing only, crack transformers. The second press is dedicated. We do a lot of other things in that press. Like me and Steve were in here pushing bearings, like putting bearings and hubs the other day with it. But for the most part, that thing is strictly designed to push the cores of transformers. And when you're running, man, 3 guys, I mean, if you got one guy prepping, one guy cracking, and one guy pushing, I haven't found anything that makes that amount of money because of how cheap the transformers are and the recovery you get out of them. I've showed videos in the beginning where, I was making $1,200 an hour. That if you do a whole load, like a ton of double copper transformers, big 1,000 watters, man, you're making premium money. Okay. I need to open up another Google Chrome. Oh, you know what the problem is? All right. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because you need a dedicated partner and time off. Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what. Thinking back, my original partner, Chris, didn't work out. He was an alcoholic. And later I found out he was on pills and wanted to basically have me do all the work and him collect all the money. I don't know where his mind was on that one, but that don't work for me. I had another partner I had a guy one time. He worked at a electrical supply house, and he came in my shop one day. He worked for one of my customers, but in the past, he worked for an electrical supply house. And he looking around. He goes, "Man, what are you doing all this stuff?" I'm like, "I'm freaking scrapping it, dude. What do you mean?" He goes, "Man, this stuff is worth thousands of dollars." He knew what he was looking at. I'm talking high-end breakers, the panels, the disconnects, all the stuff I get that everybody's like, "Oh, isn't that worth more money?" He was like, "Yeah, that's worth more money." And he was like, "Man, if you get this stuff, I'll sell it online." He goes, "I know where we can sell it." I'm like, "Okay." So right about that time, I had a customer that needed to move a tractor trailer full of electrical gear. So I literally bought an entire tractor trailer full of 1,000-amp breakers, disconnects, light fixtures, panels, brand new panels, all kinds of switches, contacts, literally all the fit-ins and just everything an electrician could want. And I get all this stuff. I had to cut the trailer up on site, kind of paid for half of it. And then I couldn't get a hold of the guy. Like the guy ghosted me. And for like 2 weeks, I'm calling the dude, leaving messages and all this stuff, and nothing. Finally, I'm like, whatever, I give up. I'm just going to start scrapping this shit. And like a week later, he calls me. "Oh, man, sorry, dude. Do you still want to do? I'm ready." I'm like, "You're ready, dude? I probably left you 15 messages." I'm like, "Nah, dude, I scrapped it." I'm like, "I sent that shit right to the scrapyard." Oh, man. And then I had another guy. You know, like my old landlord, he wanted to be a partner, and it just turned into me doing all the work. And I ain't with that, man. Like, if you're gonna be a partner, man, you got to bring something to the table, and you know, work as hard as me. Like, I'm not gonna work for you. That's crazy. I mean, unless you give me a crap load of money up front, you know. But a lot of people just want to come in and like work and you know, nah, man. Will I be breaking down more of these ice maker trays? Yeah, if I get them. Yeah, they were easy money. The guy that ghosted me sounds like the incinerator guy. Yeah, that guy. I told that dude I actually need his information. I'm gonna send him back his money. He sent me like $2,800 or something, but he dribbled it out like every time. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, either you know, pay for this thing and get this thing out of my life, or I'm gonna do something else with it. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he'd send me some money. I'm like, okay. And he'd be like, you know, next week I'll send you the rest. And then it'd be like 3 weeks later. And then I'd get aggravated, like, dude, what's up? He'd be not, you know, contacting me. And then he'd send me some more money. And then the last time he said, oh, he owed me like $1,100. And then he was like, oh, what do you say? Oh, is it okay if I just send you $300 and you know, that's good? I'm like, no, dude, that's not what we agreed to. Then he tried to tell me that we agreed to 3,500. I was at 5, he was at 3. We bet in the middle at 4. You know, so like either honor the agreement or whatever. Keep the money. Eventually, he doesn't need it. Everybody's telling me that. Steve told me that. My girlfriend told me that. I'm like, I can't do that, man. I mean, he couldn't come up with the rest of the money, even though it was kind of, um, I don't know. I'm going to just send his money back to him. I might dribble it back to him like he dribbled it into me. Like a couple $100 at a time. I don't know. Um, yeah, exactly. I'm ready a week later. But I decided I want to keep that thing, man. I want to do. I got a bunch of aluminum. I want to try to melt in that thing. I think I'll be able to make the biggest aluminum bars you've ever seen if I can get that thing to melt aluminum. It's probably drug money, maybe. I don't know if it was drug money, and why didn't he buy it and come get it? Like, he was over in the islands. First, I thought he was a scam, and I'm like, how is he scamming? He's sending me money. Like, what's he trying to do? Well, he tried to get it cheaper, but I ain't. I mean, I ain't letting it go. Screw that. All right, let me try this one more time. Extra camera, videos, images, screen share. It says this works better with two monitors. Chrome tab, a window, the entire screen. I want to do the entire screen. Like, why is it? Okay. We're good. Oh. Yeah, I think it's going to require me to reset to do that. I don't know if I can. If I sign in on. Every time I sign into my YouTube on the Chrome browser, it kicks me off of the oh, Joseph just sent $50. Dag, dude, thanks, man. I appreciate that, dude. Cheers. Where are you from? Are you the one from over there in Europe? All right. I'm gonna try one more thing. I want to show you guys this video, man. Oh, you're from Connecticut. Okay. Is it cold up there now? I appreciate the $50, man. When am I going to work on my heavy duty light tower trailer? Matter of fact, I was just looking at that thing like yesterday. I'm gonna have I gotta clean out a bunch of stuff up front and get my my editor's car out of here, and I'm gonna start cutting that thing because I think I have a contact for big, you know, the big rooftop ACs. I've never scrapped them before, but the generator guy that I know, he knows a dude that has a crane, and basically that's all he does is go work with AC companies. A heat wave in the 40s. Wow. It's probably, I mean, it's probably cool right now, but let's see. It's got to be 70 degrees. Wow, it's a chilling 62 degrees. Holy crap. Okay. All right. Let me try one more thing. I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm going to strip the rest of this wire. YouTube. Let me see. Let me sign in. Dag, I don't even know what I see. This is the problem. I have so many emails. And then I always forget my passcode because I'm constantly changing them. Okay. Oh. All right. I don't even know my own password, man. I got it written down somewhere. Let me go see if I got this thing written down somewhere. Hold on a second. Okay. I don't know if this is gonna work. I literally have 3 different passwords under the same thing here. Wow. Nope. Interesting. Well, that's it's my Rumble password. Yeah, I changed my all the Free Human Project videos. I put over on Rumble because I swear YouTube was like throttling me hard. When I started making certain videos, they immediately took my video down. They gave me like a strike and blocked me from my channel. One video talking about one particular dude and a subject that they didn't want you talking about. But yet there's videos online where you can see the guy talking about exactly what I was talking about. It's so messed up, man. Let me try this again. Yeah, I got to figure this out. I'm probably just going to have to change all my passwords again. My computer's been logged into it for years, so I really don't. No. All right. I don't even know what my password is. That sucks. I'm gonna have to change all that tomorrow. I'll figure it out, and then I'll show you guys what the there was another way. I wonder if I can invite myself. You know, if I was in my office, I could do it off my other computer. Problem is, it's not letting me share my screen. Oh, start the video and turn my camera on. Dude, you're a genius. Ha! Oh, man. You know, sometimes it's the simplest thing. Good night here in France. The weather alternates between rain, coldy. Today, 32 degrees. Dang. What's up, Laurent? All right. All right, I'm going to do that. Let me let's see if I'm still signed in. I might have signed myself out over here. Okay. All right. All right. Now this video is really grainy. Hold on. Let me make sure that everything is all right. I'm going to move my mic. Okay. Let's see how well this is going to work. Oh, I can't get my camera any lower. Let me just I'm going to just take the camera off and hold it for this little section. It'll be a lot easier. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. This is what we're looking at over here. Let me just make this bigger. Now, it's hard to tell what this guy's doing, but this is the press. This is his multiple jigs he has. And then what he has back here is something that no other machine has. His hydraulic is connected to a shaft. Basically, it's like a universal and almost like a drive shaft, basically. But it has removable ends. And what he just did is he just forced the whole core out. And now he's forcing the case off. Okay? He didn't unscrew nothing. There's no unscrewing. There's no taking apart. Now, obviously, this is only going to work with cast housings and aluminum housings. Ready? Watch what he does. He comes down with the machine. He's got fast hydraulics. This guy is set up. He just cracked the case off. No cutting. No plasma cutting. No. This is the end. Ready? Crack the case. Boom. That's the end of it. Just cracked it right off. And what he has here, his hydraulic ram is way back there. And that's one reason why my hydraulic ram is leaking is because I'm putting a lot of side pressure on it. His is on a, this thing is actually, there's a big, like a 4x4, 4-inch by 4-inch piece of stock. And he has a trolley, basically, that the thing is connected to. Now watch what he's doing here. He's using the same machine. He's pushing out the actual shaft, I think, right here. And then later on, he takes this jig out. He starts shaving off. Look what he's doing. This is why I said one machine will do it all. He's got different dies that fit into the end of this. And now look, he's taking out the, like mine, he's taking out the jig. Let's see what he's putting on there now. Okay, look, this is the aluminum. He's shearing the ends of the aluminum off. Fast. Look how fast his hydraulics are, man. This guy's got some serious stuff going on. This guy's my hero. You see his base plate? It's not only as a V, but it has like two things. Look at him just tearing into that motor. And his, like mine is, I think, 3 feet wide. His has got to be 5 feet wide, man. His is a monster. He does alternators in this thing. See, right now, he's just coming down and crushing and just ramming out the core. He's just using brute force, man. He's not taking nothing apart, wasting time. He's just, look, these are alternators. He's just cracking the aluminum, punching out the cores. And then he puts the cores, the rotor, that thing there. He gets the copper out of that. I mean, he's just moving right along. He's not messing around with this stuff, dude. Look at the size of that cylinder. Look at the size of that. That's got to be 4 or 5 feet wide. And you see what he has over here? That bar can only go straight up and down. It won't move around. It's on like another cylinder inside the I-beams that he has on the side. This thing is massive. And then look what he's doing here. That's the core of the alternator. He's got it down on his little wedge. And That's a lot of pressure. He's trying to push the thing apart. He's splitting it. Once he gets it in the right position, it kind of just pushes it right out. Right there. Look at all the copper. Like I said, it looks like someone shot this with a freaking toaster. But when I seen this, I immediately knew what was going on. And I knew what I needed to do. And you should see how... Let me see if I can find the... I got to put this up for a second. It's like... Let me see if I can find the other section. Oh, yeah, this is what I want to show you. Think of AC fan motors, okay? Watch what he does here. Like I said, I didn't see this guy. He's not. Look what he did. He put a rod, just a round dowel in the jig, okay? And look at that. He's just hitting them things with a hammer. I don't think he unscrewed anything. But watch this. This is what impressed me. These are the motors with the tin casing. The same hydraulic thing right there. He's got his claw like I got. He just grabs it and rips it off with his claw. He's not cutting nothing, man. This guy is no nonsense, just brute force. I'm going to get the freaking copper, man. Look at that. Ready to split. And I think he goes right into his splitter. He's got a very interesting splitter. Let me see. Whoops.
I'm just hungry, man.
Okay. So his splitter... and I don't know how good this is coming in, actually. His splitter is like an old school paper shear, okay? You can't see it, but I see what's going on here. He's got 2 C channels. There's a bolt, and his blade is in there and connected to a hydraulic cylinder on this other side. He's just got a flat blade. He's coming down, and he's splitting these things fast, man. He's got a proper hydraulic pump. He's got the gallons per minute that I need. And he's just blowing through motors, man. Wait till you see when this guy starts pulling it. That's a big stator he's got there. Okay. He's just splitting them in half. Look how fast he split that, man. It's just coming down like this. Boom. Done. Let's see. Here we go. You want to see some copper being pulled? Watch how fast this guy does it. Boom. Done. See how fast his hydraulics are coming down? Done. Next. That's why when I tell you, when I have the proper hydraulics, I'm going to have one of the baddest stator wrecking machines you've ever seen. This guy is on another level, man. It's going to take me a while to get to this level, but I'm going to get there. Look how fast he's pulling that copper. Done. Look at that pile adding up. Look how fast he's getting that pile. He's got the proper flow, the proper pressure. He's probably running a 20-horse pump, you know, to get that type of flow and that type of power. Okay, this is interesting. Look at this. That's a transformer. He's just coming down with a blade on one side. That's it. No cutting, no grinding, no dust. He's just using sheer force to split the transformer. Look at this. Ready? Just straight up hydraulic power. This guy is, I'm telling you, this guy is dialed. None of them other stator wrecking machines, electric motor recycling machines, is this versatile. There's a reason why I went with this style. It'll do it all. And then some. Now look, he's got a special jig just for transformers. His plate, it looks like he can take those plates out and put a V for motors or the flat plate for transformers. Watch this. No cutting. He's just ripping that copper out, dude. Done. Next. So you have one machine with the guy split, and then you got this guy just pulling. When I have my multiple stations and I'm set up with this type, and he's got multiple, like that thing was geared up just for pulling transformers. Now there's 3 videos here. He's got 3 videos there, and you got to watch them. But they're hard. It's hard to see what he's doing, but I can see right away. Let's see what we got. Whoops. Yeah, that is nuts how fast he was running that. Apparently, so there's one other guy, and he actually makes comments in my videos every once in a while. He replicated that too. Like once I found that video, I found this other guy he's in the UK or something like that. And he's not even a scrapper. He like drills wells or something. And he said he built the machine thinking that the local scrapyard might want it, and they didn't. So he was just using it. And he did a decent job of building it, but it was on like a smaller press. I don't think it was maybe a whatever, but he had a decent hydraulic pump. But it wasn't powerful enough. What's up, Scrapping on the Fly? That guy's got it dialed in 100%. Yeah, dude. Like as soon as I seen that machine, I just like pushed every other machine to the side, and it's like, well, this is where we're heading. But if you see he's actually has multiple machines. Like he's got the one big one he's cracking stuff with. Then he's got like another one set up for just pulling, and then he's got another one. He's got one that rotates them and cuts the end off with like a blade for the thick ones with like the solid bars. And he's got a little thing that comes and grabs, and he's pulling out bars, man. But I look at his setup easily $40,000-$50,000 to have a setup like that. If you were to, all the steel, all the hydraulics, he probably built all that stuff himself on a cheaper end, even his claw for pulling seemed lighter and easier to re-grab. Yeah. I seen his claw and I'm like, oh, what can I use? I bought a pallet puller for pulling pallets and whacked off the end and put jaws on it just to get myself in the door and get the process down. His stuff is like, he's definitely refined his setup. And he's in Italy because the guy that replicated, I actually talked to him. And I messaged him when I seen his video, because I messaged, if you find that video, you'll see I said, hey man, I messaged that dude. And the other guy I messaged, he actually responded. That video, he doesn't respond to nobody. But I messaged the guy. I'm like, hey man, where did you get the idea to build that machine? He goes, oh, hey, yeah, I found a video years ago, and he goes, I can't find it no more. That's like that video. I found that video, and then I lost it for like a year. It took me a year to find it again, because you just don't come across it. The guy's like speaking Italian. If anyone speaks Italian, let me know. You tell me what that guy's saying, because at the end of one of the videos, he's basically saying something, and it looks like he's saying, see, it's easy. This is how easy it is. What are you guys doing, And it's just crazy what he was doing, man. I mean, big. It's the first time I've seen someone breaking down big motors, and just breaking them down, splitting them, and ripping the copper. You need 3 machines, basically. One to break the motor open, a dedicated machine. Like his one machine will basically do it all. And that's what I'm building, that first machine. And then he had, his blade, I guess, is okay. And what you didn't see there is he was lubing that thing up with oil, basically on every one. But, he's cutting it like this. Like he's putting the things here and he's coming down with the flat. I don't like the flat, but I guess it's working, He's splitting big things with it. I like the point to get down in there and start spreading and getting that thing open. I think that's a better way to go. And I got an idea. And matter of fact, you don't even need a blade for what the concept that I got. Like that blade there, you're pushing the blade down through the whole thing. So you need a blade that's as long as whatever you're pushing through. I got an idea. I want to grab the blade by the sides, right? And it can be flat here and just like this. It doesn't need to be, say if I want to split a 3-foot, 36-inch stator, the blade doesn't have to be 36 inches. It can only be 24 inches. But I'm going to have a system where the blade will go all the way through. It's going to be grabbed by the sides and not the top. And that's going to do 2 things. One, it's going to let me penetrate all the way through. And 2, it's going to keep my height, the distance I need. Because all those machines that guy had, his cylinders are on top of the machine. It's like a baler. You ever see a cardboard baler? You got the big frame and then you got 4 feet of freaking hydraulics sticking out the top. Well, I'm going to do mine from the sides. Even this machine here, I want to put the hydraulic rams on the side to where the tops of the ram are at the top of the thing, and and the cylinders are down here, pushing down like this, and have straps going up, grabbing the thing, pulling it down, not the cylinder on top, pushing from the middle. I'm going to have 2 pushing from the sides. It's going to keep my clearance low. So if I have an 8-foot machine, I don't need an additional 4 feet. It doesn't have to be 12 feet high. It wouldn't even fit in this building. I want to keep everything low profile and have the cylinders on the side. And that's what I'm going to do with my big boy stator splitter, like these ones, I'm going to use that blade, you know, and I only need a cylinder with 2 feet of stroke, you know, for that blade. I'm probably gonna get one with 3 feet and make a jig set up for that, and so I can put a bigger blade when I make my own blade. I'm gonna make a bigger blade. It's gonna do most of the things, but when I make the big boy one that'll split all the big stuff, the blade's not gonna be that tall. It's gonna be wide and thick, but it's gonna have the taper. That thing has a specific taper. And I've showed it when I replicated that thing for what's that guy's name? Romantic. He used to do scrapping videos, but he kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. He must have a pump the size of a Cummins diesel. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. Like when I worked for concrete cutting, and we used to have hydraulic setups that were like 15 gallon a minute, 30 gallon a minute, and 60 gallon a minute. And we had these power units. They had 50 horsepower, 480 volt, 3-phase motors powering them pumps to get that type of power. We had, I used to drill holes with hydraulic core drills, 60-inch diameter core drills, big monsters, dude, drilling through seawalls, stuff like that, spinning big track saw blades, 72-inch blades, all hydraulic powered. We had big, our trucks, they were Hygen. I had an F550. That's why I have the 7.3 diesels that I have. That's why I bought them. When I worked for that company, we had a fleet of 7.3s, F550s. Those trucks would drive us to the job site, run all day long, powering 480 volt generator and the big hydraulic pumps and all the equipment, and then get us home. Them trucks ran all day long, and them engines were just awesome. But they were big pumps powered by that big diesel. Yeah. He had a big, he was kicking ass and making it look real easy. Yeah. It dude was dialed, man. His hydraulics didn't give. They just went. When you have that much power and speed, it's no joke, man. You speak Italian, Frank? Maybe a drive shaft U-joint. I actually have. Hold on, man. It might be right there. I've been gathering the pieces to finish it. So I've had this for a while. And this is brand new, actually. I think this is from a Jeep or something. So I was going to whack this off and weld this to something and then put a hook here. So this will ride on a trolley. There'll be a hook here that the chain for the puller goes onto, because this is going to do two things. It's going to push the crap out and it's going to pull. And then this, I can just get the yokes and build different bits to slide right on here. It'd actually be but the problem is, I don't know how that universal, I don't know how that is actually going to stand up to the hydraulic forces pushing. I might have to kind of remake this with just big solid dowels. But the tube and the end, I think will be okay because it's just pushing straight. But if you've seen what he was doing in that video, he was basically the aluminum or cast ends. He was just pushing them out, just pushing them right out with ease, man. He didn't unscrew nothing. The guy never had a drill or a grinder in his hand. So what I need to do, and I've been kind of waiting to get a steel plate because I want to build that permanently over on the table, I don't want to put that, because if, every time I need to work on this table, weld or scrap, I got to remove that hydraulic cylinder because it's just right in the way. I just put this here temporarily to kind of dial it in and get it working. I'm going to have to bite the bullet, get a steel plate, put it over there, move the press over there, and then I can actually build the trolley, because that hydraulic cylinder needs to be stationary, where it's just pushing in and out. When I'm pulling with that thing, one, I'm pumping way too much pressure. It's low, it's high pressure, low volume, low flow. I need high flow, lower pressure, not low pressure, but I need to bring the pressure down to about 3,000 PSI, but the gallons per minute, I need way more. Like, I don't even know what that is, but it's like, that thing's like slow as molasses, but it's high pressure. These big rams, they don't take a lot of pressure. And I actually need a bigger diameter ram. Like, this one's okay, but for pulling, because rams push harder than they pull because of the surface area, I'd like something a little bit bigger, so when I grab something and start yuking it, it just goes, man. And when you got the proper pressure and the speed, it just, it just works better. But once that's like set up to where it can only go forward and back straight, I'm not going to have problems with the seals. I think I ruined the seals from putting side loads on that cylinder. But I think everything is still in good shape. I just need to get a new seal before it starts going metal on metal. Oh, you can translate Italian from text because the dialects are different? Yeah. Yeah, he had no problem with that. He wasn't you should see him at the end of the video, like the last of the three, I think. He's just like, you see? That's how it's done. I showed that video to Steve and he was impressed, man. He goes, because I've been showing Steve all the other things and I showed him that and he goes, that guy's dialed in. And he's also geared up. If you see, he's got like a thick leather, almost like a welding vest, or not a vest. What would you call it? An apron. That's what I need. Like if you're cracking that cast, you're gonna need a shield, man. The new phones can translate it. The universal is cast iron, probably won't hold a lot of pressure. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking I was going to have to whack that off and just, make my own thing out of heavy plate steel or something. And I got some big, what I was going to use, because it's good steel, is a hydraulic cylinder. I have some cylinder rods that I got. Usually that's pretty good steel, so I was going to make it out of that. You're hoping to get an old school bench work table from my scrap shed, for your scrap shed? Dag, man. There's I wonder if it's still available. I messaged the guy. I've been looking for a table that I can put right out back to do the AC compressors, because I want to have a table where I can drain a bunch at once, and have this table was perfect. It's like this table, but there's like a gap and a trough all the way around it where the oil could just drain down into like a bucket. And I'm wondering if a big ass wood table. I'll tell you what, man, I had a couple wooden benches and they don't hold up for, at least for me, scrapping. I would tear them up to the point where the wood was like almost, fraying and getting like, it just wore the wood down, man. If you do get a wood table, put a piece of steel over it or something if you're going to be scrapping. You pulled your table out of the weeds years ago. Do they have any more? Are you asking me, John? Yeah, that's the table my landlord sold. We had a bunch of them. Matter of fact, I paid $75 a piece for those tables. And the deal was, because it was like his deal, I paid for them. I went and got them. But I was going to keep 2 of them. I think we wind up like 4 or 5 of them. And then he wound up selling them all. And all of those tables were 3/4 inch thick. You'd pulverize a wood table pretty fast. Yeah, I had one for years, dude. It was actually a nice table. It originally came with like a vise, and I tore the holes up with the vise, beating on the thing, and then throwing transformers. The transformers would ding the table, and then it was just starting to ruin it. Oh, you put stainless steel over it? Yeah. One of my customers gave me this table. It's a little roll around. I like it. I like using it for like cleaning parts or whatever. It's stainless steel. It's nice. But this table, I'm going to message the guy tomorrow and see if he still has it. But it'd be perfect. He wants $320, I think, or $350. He says he's moving and got to go, so I'm going to offer him like $250. It's on Facebook Marketplace. But it's got a nice vise on it. One of the ones that spin all the way around and you clamp like pipes in it and whatnot. I think it'd be nice for having an outside table, and it's on wheels, so I guess I could put it anywhere. Did I ever get the other diesel truck fixed? No, but I was out there looking at it. I need to get a starter and alternator for it, man. I robbed it for my other truck. So what I'm going to do is Advanced Auto Parts. You can go there and get lifetime warranties on starters and alternators. It's not cheap. It's going to cost me like $500, like $250 for each one, or around there, or something like that. I think it was $500 last I checked, but I'm going to get the lifetime warranties. That way, if the starter goes bad on that truck or the other truck, that I can I can just use the warranty for both of them. Kind of like what I used to do at Harbor Freight. It's like all my lights in here that I bought from Harbor Freight. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. I bought a 2-year warranty on one of them. So even if they're still working in 2 years, I'll take one of them back. They were only $20, but I think it was like $5 or $7 for a 2-year warranty. You take one back, it'll cost you $7 to re-up your 2-year warranty. Then you're good for another 2 years on your 7 lights. I used to do that with the transformer press and the 20-ton hydraulic jacks. I actually got banned from the Delray Beach Harbor Freight from buying those jacks because I was blowing them up. I mean, when I tell you guys, I used to do a lot of transformers. I don't think you've ever seen that table as full as I used to have it, man. I used to stack that's 4 foot wide by like 2.5 feet. I used to stack it as high as that press, which is about 3 feet high. I would stack them up with 1,000 watt transformers every other day. I mean, I'd go out with that truck sitting out back, the guy was just talking about. My crane used to sit in that truck. I would go out and basically come back with anywhere from a ton to 2 tons a day in transformers. I mean, you go to one customer that was doing a lot of lighting maintenance, he might have 1,000 to 1,500 pounds of transformers. I'd hit 4, sometimes 5 customers in a day like that. Some of my customers had 2 barrels, and I had them all on a monthly schedule. And it would just show up. I had these barrels. I got 1 left around here. I don't know what happened to the other 2. I cut a barrel in half and put a saw blade on the bottom and welded caster wheels to it and made these. There's pins on the sides. I pick it up with a spreader beam, and it was so that I could pick it up with my scale, weigh it as I picked it up, boom it over into the truck, pull the pins, and dump it into my big bin. And then I always had a thing, man. Don't inconvenience the customer. Get in and out as fast as possible. Like, I'd be there. If I was there more than 20 minutes, I was stressed. Like, I'm like, all right, I always had a guy working with me. I'd be like, let's go, dude. Tighten up, And we checked every transformer. I learned very early on to check the transformers. That's why I always made money with them, because I never bought aluminum transformers at a copper price. And I only had 2 prices. I had a copper price and I had an aluminum price. If the transformer was 1 copper, 1 aluminum, I bought it at that aluminum price. So I always made out. But yeah, man, I'd come back with that F-350 squatting with nothing but transformers. Because down here in South Florida, there's a lot of people here on the coast, and we get a lot of storms. The lighting maintenance before LEDs was huge. It was huge, man. And I got in on the back end. Like, I could say there was a solid, probably 8 years that all I did was transformers, and that was it, man. Very rarely would I even deal with wire, As soon as LEDs started coming in, I started getting in the wire. But I wish I could just go back to where it was transformers all day. I mean, I wouldn't have much content for you guys, but my pocket would love it. And I don't even, what's crazy? I'm thinking back then, like, man, I used to make so much money so fast. I guess it's because I only worked like 4 days a week. I lived right by the beach. And I didn't need to work 5-6 days a week like I do now. I probably should have. I had a nice little niche, and I was growing. I got bigger than I could handle, and I lost some customers because of that, because I never had proper help. Like, I grew really fast thinking I was going to have a partner, and that didn't work out, and that kind of screwed me up. And then that soured me on having a partner. And then some of the help I've had over the years, man, it's hard to find good help. That soured me too. And then I just was in a pocket where I did what I could by myself. Screw everybody else. I just worked by myself. And I made incredible money for the amount of time I worked, but I didn't work full time. Like, there's a lot of years where I was working 3-4 days a week. I just, I was happy what was going on. It was a lot better than working the 60 hours a week cutting concrete to make, $1,500 a week, or whatever I was waiting. It wasn't a lot. All I know is I can make, even today, I can make $1,000 a day with this equipment easily make $1,000 a day. It's just not as often, as it used to be. And then $1,000 doesn't go as far as it used to go, for sure. Oh man, how long we been on here? 2 hours already? Here in Holland, I only see Ram trucks. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're pretty much probably all the same now. But I was never a fan of Dodge Rams. Seems like they rust out a lot. How did I check them in the field? With a file. I never liked using a grinder because when I was at my customers, I did a couple things to keep the noise down. One, I just used a file. As you pick it up out of the thing, it didn't take any more time, and I got good with the file and where to grab the transformer and scrape it. It was all in one motion. Scrape it. If you've seen copper, it went in this bucket. If you've seen silver, it went in that bucket. Okay. And usually you scrape the big coil first because that's going to tell you. Usually when you get the aluminum transformers, it's the big coil. Unfortunately, that's aluminum. But I would just hit it with a big file, like a rasp, like a horse hoof rasp, actually, rasp or whatever you call them. I didn't like to use a grinder. One, I didn't want to create a bunch of dust at my customers, and I didn't want to make a bunch of noise. Like a lot of times I'd be in their back of their shop. They have an office with people, secretaries and stuff. Another thing I did is I never gave them steel drums, and I never brought steel drums. It was always plastic. You could throw transformers in a plastic drum, and it's not going to be like, if you throw a 20-pound transformer in a steel drum in the back of someone's office, it's going to be loud. Okay. They don't want to hear that crap. You got to, a bunch of little things I did just to make the customer happy. What do we got here? Yeah, I keep hearing that O'Reilly's and the store credit on the battery thing. You've been disappointed by the aluminum ones. Also, the parking lot lights here in my state have been changed to LEDs by code. So they have them everywhere and LEDs up already. Yeah, that's a problem. Like, man, it's been tough for me in the past year, basically, because I had been changing out the LEDs for 5 years. Like Florida started changing them out a while ago. And, I've changed hundreds of parking lots out. So in the past year, all that work just like ground to a halt. And I knew it was going to come to an end. I just didn't think it was going to stop that fast. Like if you watch my channel 2-3 years ago, I was constantly going out in the field, trailer loads. That's why my customer, I had one of my biggest customers. They were actually from like Ohio. They pulled out of Florida. They had an office down in Deerfield, and they were lighting maintenance and changing out parking lots. So since I've known them 7 years, maybe, they've been changing them out to LEDs, and I guess they changed them all out to the point where they went from making $1 million a year in that office to like 100,000. And they were like, man, we can't get out of here fast enough. We're done. We've done changed them all out. There's no money in maintaining like LEDs. It's not the same. It really sucks. A lot of my customers, man, they all used to run bucket trucks. I'd say 80% of them have sold their bucket trucks. They used to have 3-4 bucket trucks. Some of them don't have any. Some of them might have one left. You know, I don't have any customers now that I go to and get full drums of transformers anymore. It's very rare. And that sucks. And the transformers that I do get now, matter of fact, I just did a job and I was very shocked. Not only the lights were good, nice heavy cast aluminum, but they had big 1,000-watt double copper transformers in them. You'll see that video coming up. And matter of fact, it was a job down in Miami. I'm surprised no one stole the lights. And they only did half the job. I'm supposed to go down there, pick up the rest of them. But yeah, any of the companies that have been doing maintenance in the past 5 years, if they were keeping the HID up there and they were going to go change a bulb and a ballast, they would buy the cheapest ballast they can get, either double aluminum or one aluminum, one copper. They weren't going to spend a lot of money on a double copper transformer thinking that it's going to last longer, because they knew pretty soon they're going to change them all out to LEDs anyway. Love to hear your stories. I'm a professional scrapper. Thanks, man. You started to get into the e-waste side of scrap? Silverlicious, you hate the cars with the bright lights. Hey, there's a whole thing going on right now with Ford F-150s. People are stealing the LED taillights out of them. Oh, snap. What's up, Happy the chinchilla? I'm up here in New York and want to start scrapping, but I have a mid-sized car and I really can't get a truck. How can I sort of get started, as I need extra cash? Well, shit, man. What's that guy, Scrap Father, Scrap Son? I think he started out of a Toyota Corolla or something. I mean, what type of are you scrapping now at all? I mean, if you're scrapping out of a car, you can try to go to like the commercial areas and hit the dumpsters like some people do. I mean, there's people that do that. They drive around here and they hit the dumpsters over here and hit some of these auto mechanics. Hit a bunch of auto mechanics, man. Get some brake rotors. A lot of the new stuff, like my neighbor, he gives me aluminum radiators all the time. A bunch of aluminum parts, like the front end suspension parts, sometimes the A-arms and the trailing arms and stuff. But maybe talk to some electricians. That's going to be like, talking to electricians is tough because pretty much they've probably already got someone they're selling to, and they know they can get money for the scrap. So they're going to want their stuff weighed, for one. Best thing I could tell you is get a scale. I started out with straight up, I went and bought a freaking bathroom scale from Walmart or something like that. I'll never forget weighing my first transformers in a parking lot. I met the guy in a PB gas station parking lot, and I bought him right off his bucket truck. He just had a pile of them there. I put him in a milk crate, weighed him on the scale, and paid the guy like $70 or something like that. I mean, it was a couple of milk crates worth of them, but that's how I started. I didn't have my own truck when I started, but I was working for a company, and I was using their F550. I showed up with the box truck and was buying transformers. And then I had like a F150, but I immediately, first time I went to go put any type of weight in the back of the F-150, I realized, well, this ain't going to work. You need a heavy duty truck because it don't take a lot of transformers to get 1,000 pounds. You put 1,000 pounds in the back of an F-150, you're feeling it, you know? Like my dualies, this F-350 out back here, that truck weighs like over 8,000. I've literally had 8,000 pounds in the bed of the truck. And other than it squatting, I didn't know it hauled it like it was nothing, you know? And, you know, if you're going to get into some serious scrapping, man, you need a heavy, minimum an F-250 or a 2,500 and a trailer, you know, or an F-150 and have a trailer behind it that you can haul some weight. You started scrapping out of the trunk of your car. There you go. Yeah, man. I mean, if you got wheels, dude, I see people all the time around here dumpster diving with their car, truck, whatever, man. What's up, Ed? Yeah, that's a good idea, Frank. Get a little trailer behind the car. Harbor Freight sells a little trailer. Be great for a car. But I mean, if you're serious about scrapping, man, just you're gonna have to probably get a truck. You doing this in a 14 Fusion? What is that? What's up, dude, from Russia? We got Russia in the house. That's awesome, man. What I love about the internet, dude. We can all chill. Talking to people from all over the freaking world is amazing. Um, so I'm hoping, I was hoping I was going to be able to find a place and get out of this shop. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to be here another year. And I don't know if they're going to let me break my lease. Um, they might tell me I have to forfeit my deposit. So I was kind of holding off on doing a couple things, but I'm going to have to, I think I'm just going to be here another year now. And I'm going to have to knock out a couple things now before I move. But like, there's a lot of stuff I wanted to do as of like organizing the shop. And I was hoping I could find something else. I mean, I looked at a few other shops, but the size, I found a couple about the same size, but then it was like the parking. This place is nice because I have a decent sized space out back and a lot of space out front. Not a lot of places. And then the prices, this place, even though the rent's high, it's actually, for the area, it's pretty competitive. Any place that's close to 95 and in West Palm Beach, like I'd either have to go back down south, which I don't want to. I don't want to be in Broward or Miami traffic every day, man. West Palm Beach is kind of getting crazy, but it's not West Palm or Broward County crazy, man. That place will drive you crazy. But I'm gonna have to. We're gonna knock out a bunch of projects now. I'm gonna sort the shop real quick, and we're gonna knock out a couple things. I got a bunch of cool things I've been wanting to do that I just kind of been putting off. What else we got here? See in your outro, you have that oil filter crusher. Any money in that, or is it too messy? So I originally bought that. That's a $5,000 machine. I got for $400. It's like everything else. I get a good deal on it. I bought it to pull the hydraulics out and use it as my second press because I wanted something with more stroke. But once I got it, I realized, yeah, you can make money with it because everybody around here, all these mechanics, with these guys around here, they probably just throw in their oil filters in the trash. But there's companies that come around and they have to show what they've done with their oil. So I have an EPA number for something that I do. And it allows me to do a couple things. But one of them is I can transport up to like 55 gallons at a time. I can recycle oil and give a certificate of recycling. So what I used to do is I used to compete with the oil guys. If they were back in the day, they used to pay for oil around here. So I would pay, it would go up and down, 50 cents a gallon, up to $1 a gallon. I would buy the oil. But they always charged to pick the oil filters. Or when they were buying the oil, I think they were taking them for free. But then it got to the point where at my other shop, if you see the system that I had before, last time I left off with dealing with oil, I was taking the oil for free. And I think I was actually charging $25 a drum. That's right. Because it went the opposite way. They started charging for everything again. It went back and forth for a while. I mean, I did it for a few years. I put probably almost 300,000 miles on that truck burning used motor oil. But they were charging, I forget what they were charging, but I was charging $25 per 5-gallon drum, 55-gallon drum to collect the oil, and $25 per 55-gallon drum of oil filters. And as long as you crush the filters, now some scrap yards, I don't know, but down here, they won't take an oil filter. Like if you just came in with a drum of oil filters, they won't take them. But if they're crushed, they're flat, they'll take them. Now this machine flattens them, and then it's got basically holes in the bottom. As it's flattening it, it's pushing out the oil. And then there's actually, you push the filter back and it can sit there for a while you're crushing the next one and drain down. And there's like a tube that you can hook to a drum. And then there's you push the filter back into the machine and it drops down into a hole. But I was basically, they were paying me for my fuel. I was charging for the fuel. I was charging for the filters, burning free fuel, and getting paid for the oil filters for tin shred. Wasn't a lot, but I mean, if you had I guess if you did enough of it and you were charging to pick it up and you got money coming in and then you got more money coming in when you sell it, you got, money coming in both ends, you can make some money. You drive a Renault Clio from 99? You scrapping that thing, man? Merchant Metals scrapped out of his car until he fixed that truck. That truck is something else, man. I was watching him drive. He's got like a drivable dump thing. He was driving it around the scrapyard. I was cracking up, man. He drives it up on his trailer and has like, he's got a big trailer with like a camper. I guess he's staying in the camper. And then right in front of it, he's got a little scrap area where he works. It's a pretty cool setup, man. He's like going state to state scrapping. And I'm pretty impressed that he's finding so many lights. I don't know where he's finding them lights or how he's doing it, but that's pretty impressive. I guess he's calling all the scrap yards or electricians. I mean, that's what I did in the beginning. I went on the Blue Book of Contractors, and you can type in an area code. So I guess wherever you are, you can do that. You just type in your area code, and then it'll just give you a list. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start. I was in Broward County, which is a 954. I started with all the 954s. Then when I got done with them, I went to the 305s, which is Miami. Then I went to the 561s. And then somehow I accidentally called a number. I thought it was a 561. It gave me a number on the web. Matter of fact, it was a guy I went to today to pick up this wire. I accidentally called the West Coast by accident. It was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I had a whole spiel. I wish I could find my spiel. But there was specific things I said and specific things I didn't say. I learned really fast. You don't call an electrician and tell them you're a recycler right out the gate because they don't like that. So I had this whole spiel, and a lot of it was because you call an electrician, you're cold calling. First thing you're going to do is get the secretary. You got to get past the secretary to the service manager. Okay. And so I had a way of, I basically asked them I asked them a question that I knew most likely they wouldn't know. And they'd be immediately like, oh, let me get you to the service manager. So, yeah. But the Blue Book of Contractors, if you're looking for contacts, that's a perfect way to get electrical contractors, AC guys, plumbing guys. It doesn't hurt I'm telling you, cold calling people is tough. I like when I'm out and about and I see someone at a gas station or on a job. I've gotten a lot of customers by seeing them on a job. Now, I lucked out when I started. I was still cutting concrete. So I was on big jobs with a lot of big electrical contractors. And I'd go talk to them, face to face. And when you could talk to someone and, they get a good vibe from you and you can talk. One thing about electricians, if you can talk shop with them. See, I knew about electrical stuff somewhat, so I could talk a little shop with them and it helps. But the Blue Book of Contractors is what got me in the game. Because I seen that, I was like, you know what? If they got the money to advertise in here, that's the customer I want. And I went after the whales, man. I went after all the big contractors in South Florida. Anybody that was doing lighting maintenance, I wanted. But I wanted the guys that had a fleet of trucks, 200 employees. And they had a whole division set up just for lighting maintenance. And those are the contractors I want. Oh, but this guy, I know I get off on tangents, but this guy on the West Coast, I accidentally called the dude. And he goes, oh, yeah, dude, I'm doing a job right now. I'll have 40 transformers tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then I'm like, let me get the address and blah, blah, blah. And I'll get a drum. At the time I was giving everybody a free drum. And he gave me the address and I'm looking it up. I'm like, holy crap, man, it's across the state. So I think it was like he was going to have them in a couple days. Because I remember what I did was, as soon as I realized he was across the state, I'm like, well, I'm not really ready to go over there. I was like, I don't want to go over there for one customer. So I was like, you know what I did? I went on the Blue Book. I got all the numbers from the West Coast, Naples, Fort Myers, Cape Coral. And I figured out how many drums I can fit in the back of my F-150, which was 8. So I was like, all right, I got 2 days. I need 8 customers. And I sat there and I called and I called. I think it took me a day and a half to get 8 customers. I was like, great. Now when I go over there to pick up this guy's transformers, I'm going to drop him off a drum and 7 others. And that was my start of the West Coast. And I had a good run there for a while. And then it kind of just, a couple people retired and a couple people went out of business. And then COVID was like the nail in the coffin for my West Coast. But this guy still calls me. He doesn't do transformers anymore, but he always has a nice pile of copper when I go over there. And he's a straight shot from where I am, where I live. So he's just straight across the state on the bottom side of Lake Okeechobee he lives out in the country, man. Beautiful. I'm hoping to have something out there in the country pretty soon. Talk to maintenance people. Yeah. I had a couple big time maintenance companies. CBRE, that's a huge company. I had a couple guys that maintain buildings. They'd have me come pick up all their scrap. Merchant Metals vehicle weighed 22,000 pounds the other day. Damn. That's a lot, dude. He's got a lot of shit. He's hauling a lot of just equipment on that rig. And I think it's a gasser. It's not even a diesel. I hear him talking about selecting his route like up through the mountains. It's crazy. I see people scrapping on bicycles. Hey, the original guy that used to work for me, Brian, that's what he used to do. He would take a hand cart and strap it to his seat. And he had baskets on the hand cart. And he would go dumpster dive. He was the first person I ever knew that would dumpster dive. And let me tell you, he knew which dumpsters to hit. He would go to this. We got a lot of boat places. Broward Motorsports down there in Fort Pompano was one of his main dumpsters. He'd go there, stainless steel, aluminum heads, aluminum stuff from all the jet skis. Like he lived off of those dumpsters, man. He even would go to like Winn-Dixie. He knew when Winn-Dixie would clear their shelves, he'd go get all the stuff would still be frozen. And he'd get steaks and pork chops and beer. And then he knew where all the homeless camps are. He would go give this stuff away. The guy gave more, and I kind of respected him for that. He gave so much stuff away and helped a lot of these homeless people that were, living on the off ramps and stuff. There was like whole homeless camps down there in Broward. They got them out of there. What they did is they came in there and they cut down all the trees because they had like you would walk back into the woods. You couldn't see it from the road, but it'd be like 20, 30 homeless people living back in there. Tents and all kinds of craziness. People would be cops would be back there all the time. It was a mess, but he would go give them all this food. It was still good. Like it'd be like 1 day out of date, still frozen. But he lived out of the dumpsters. And I was shocked. Matter of fact, I still have it around here somewhere. I got a big steel plate that you always see my vise. I keep my vise on a plate. 1, I can just put it wherever and clamp it. And 2, I don't like my vise on the table because a lot of times it hinders what you can do. I like my vise off the table. It gives you a lot better versatility of what you're doing. But he gave me a steel plate. He gave me a couple things. I still probably have them around here that he found in a dumpster. Anytime I had him with me, and I kept telling him, I'm like, dude, I don't want you jumping out of my truck jumping in some dirty ass dumpster and then getting back in my truck and sitting in my seat, you know? But he would like, if we went somewhere and I was talking to my customer, he would sneak off and he'd be in a dumpster somewhere, dude. And always came out with something, man. And he would always tell me, he goes, nah, man, you can't just sit there. He goes, you got to get in the dumpster and you got to open the bags and go through the stuff. He would go to, he'd hit this dumpster by, we got a lot of retirement places down here, old people. Well, the tenants, when they would die, if no one claimed their stuff, they would just throw it in the dumpsters. Man, he found a gun, jewelry, money, wads of cash in like people's coat pockets and stuff, or like these old people would be stashing money in random places. He would go through all the stuff and come out with all kinds of crazy stuff. I love to see your truck every time in a video. So I just talked with the neighbor. I have 2 brand new dually fenders sitting up here that have been sitting here since I got in the shop, 3 years now. So I was like, you know what? I talked to the neighbor, the guy 2 bays down from me. That's all he does is body work and paint cars. So I had him look at my Mercedes. I have a crack on my, what do you call that? The thing on the bottom, the ground effects, you know, the AMG cars came with like different body kits than the regular S500s or S600s. And I had a blowout. I was racing a BMW one night when I first got the car, and I'm an idiot. Like, you should never, I didn't check the dates on the tires. They look brand new. It's like my truck. The reason that fender's messed up is it had brand new tires when I got it, but they were 5 years old. They were Michelin's too. Looked nice, brand new. I'm like, great, got a new truck. My customer gave me that truck. Brand new Michelin's on it. He actually bought the batteries, 2 brand new batteries. Like, yeah, come get the truck. How I got that truck is I'd pull up with my red truck out back to him to go buy transformers. I pull up right next to it. He had it sitting out in front of his shop for years. I'd always pull up right next to it. And I'd always ask him, hey, man, you want to sell that truck? You want to sell that truck? They look like sisters sitting there. And one day he was at my shop dropping something off, and I was changing the high-pressure oil pump. And I'm like, hey, man, what do you want to sell that truck? He goes, oh, my 1-ton? He goes, man, just come get it. It's been sitting there 5 years. I'd rather see someone use it. And I showed up that weekend, and he had 2 brand new batteries. We went over the truck, did a couple things, got it running, and I drove it home. Brakes locked up. I had to change calipers. Matter of fact, some of the first videos on my YouTube channel are me checking that truck over when I first got it. That's another thing. Like, I get everything on a deal. But my car and my truck, I had the dude give me an estimate. I was racing a BMW one night. I was cooking this dude. I mean, BMW guys are crazy, but you know, I was coming out of Miami. Me and this BMW are cooking about 150, just getting it the whole time. I mean, I'm like a cannonball type, you know, and this is 1 o'clock in the morning. There's nobody on the highway. It's not like we're weaving in and out of traffic. And then if you did see any like, unwanted pork on the highway, you just stay in it. At that speed, you're gone, you know? Not that I condone any of that stuff. I mean, this is all theoretically things that happen. But, I mean, we were probably 30 minutes. I mean, the whole time from Miami to North Palm, we're pretty much, you know, every time he'd get up next to me, we'd just run it. And I'd put the gap on his ass. But I was getting close to my exit, and I'm winding down. I'm coming down from about 150, and somewhere around 130, I start getting a vibration. and that front passenger tire just started coming apart. By the time I got off the high, and I'll tell you what, an S-Class Mercedes, the whole time I was having the tire come apart, I felt completely stable. I mean, it just handled it. Okay. Not an ideal situation, but it didn't feel like I was losing control at all. But I got over to the side of the road, and the tire had cracked my ground effects, and it beat the fender. It didn't bend, and it just had black smudges everywhere. I have buffed that out, but it's cracked there. And then the front of my car is just peppered, from being behind other cars and, dirt coming up. So he gave me a quote, $800 to fix that, a couple dents. The car has very little dents, but to fix the couple little dents that are in the car and the scratch, I think someone leaned up against my car one day and scratched the heck out of the side of my passenger door, man. But $800 to fix that. And then I had him give me a quote to put the fenders on, paint the truck, there's a little bit of rust in the top of the truck, and I'm getting water. The reason I had to give me the quote, because I'm starting to get water come in my cab. He gave me a quote for $5,000, but it's a big truck. There's a lot of paint and a lot of work. But he did say it's going to look like brand new when I'm done. So I think with everything that I have going on, I'm probably just going to let him do that. I was going to do it myself. I'd rather be doing other things and just let someone that does that every day do it. But he did say he's going to need my truck for like a week. So I'm going to have to get my other truck on the road first, and then I'm going to do that. But that's going to be happening soon. Let's see what we got here. And then I'm probably going to crank it. What time is it? Dag, it's like 2 a.m. You guys are still out here with me? Oh, man. I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow too, man. Wait till you see the scrap I have coming up. Like I said, like when I took the 2 weeks off or whatever, I didn't stop filming. Because usually what I do is I work, I film, which makes my work a lot longer because I'm trying to narrate, get the camera angles. The batteries are constantly dying. I got to get all the shots. And then I got to get all that footage onto the computer, on the hard drives. I got to edit something. It just was like every day of doing that. It just was like so much. And then doing that till 1 o'clock in the morning. Literally, I'd fall asleep. You know how many times I've fallen asleep in my office with my laptop in my lap, or I'll lean back in my office chair. Like if I try to sit in my office chair because it's not as comfortable as the couch. If I sit on the couch, it's nap time. I'll fall asleep. I'll wake up at 3 a.m, and I have to, go home. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Create a Facebook group for scrap. I do have a Facebook thing that I started. I just, man, it's just so much. Like someone was helping me with my Instagram and whatnot for a minute, and then they couldn't do it anymore. And then I just ain't got time for everything. Let's see. I need a shop that has a living quarters where you're going to have to pay one rent bill. Yeah. That would be nice, because if I thought I could get away with it, I'd stay here for sure. But I'm pretty sure the guy that was in here got evicted because he was living here. And I mean, he was full blown, had like a girlfriend. They had a baby, literally got her pregnant and had a baby in here. The dude had a jacuzzi up in here. Like it was like a party. which is crazy. I had a shop one time. The whole shop was air conditioned. Okay. And you like pulled in, it went, it was real high, 20 something foot ceilings, but the back third had a whole office up on the second floor. And then like the ceiling came down lower. And then that's where I actually had I had this table set up underneath my office. My office was up top. And there was a time when I was moving, I stayed there for 3 or 4 weeks, almost a month. I lived in that, shit, man, I don't care. I got running water and AC. I had internet. I didn't have YouTube at that time. I wasn't on YouTube. But it was like, it was almost like an apartment up there. It was nice. I would love that. I don't need a place. Yeah, because with this place, the 55, my other place, which is like about 1,000, and all my other bills, like I need to make like over 7,000 a month, almost 8,000 a month now at this point, before I make any money. And then if I gotta pay people, that's more. Imagine having to come up with that amount of scrap. Now the YouTube helps me tremendous amount. Like on good months, it's getting better. This year is actually better. But it's been like 2,500, 3,000, 3,000. I had my biggest month ever was over 5,000. Paid my rent. But it's becoming more consistent around 3,000. But it's a lot of work. It's a whole nother full-time job to get those numbers. I gotta crank out a lot of videos. That's a lot. And I'm hoping that this year I get to the point where it's paying most of the rent, because then I can get, the problem why I haven't done a lot of the project is, one, I got to work way more than I've had in years. I've never had this amount of bills in my entire life. It's really like, I would have never thought I would have had to make $7,000 a month just to pay my bills. That's just insane. It's an insane amount of money, and it'll work on you, man. But I'm extremely grateful and blessed for the YouTube channel, because if it wasn't for the YouTube channel, I wouldn't have stayed in this shop. When my original partner, who was paying, I think he was paying $1,600 and I was paying $2,000. When he left, if I wasn't making money on YouTube, I would have never taken that bay over. And at this point, with the way they've jacked up the rent, I probably would have left. But to move, it is a monumental task. I've moved a couple times, and when you go to move, first of all, you got to bust out first, last, and security somewhere, So when we moved in here, it was almost $11,000 we had to put up front. So to move out of here into something comparable with the prices now, I'm looking at $10,000 to $15,000 I got to put out, and I still, then I still have to pay for this. Then I have to work and then break all this stuff. It's just, when I move out of here, I'm hoping it's into something permanent, something I'm going to be paying for, that I'm going to own. Let's see. Are there any local and international scrapping conferences that are grassroots? Huh. I never thought about a international scrapping conference. I don't know, man. Um, Damn. You know what? That's you guys talking about the soda cans and stuff. Steve was in here the other day, and he's from up north. I'm surprised he didn't know this. He's like, "Did you know that you can get 10 cents for this bottle?" And in certain states, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that's like a thing up north, man. People make." I see Thumbprint. I think like his earlier videos, he would go around and just pick up bottles and cans or something, man. I don't know how they're getting money for them or what they're doing with them, how they're even worth that. It makes no sense to me. But if they're doing it in some states, I don't understand why they're not doing it in all the states. You got to pick the right spots, word of mouth. It's everything. I'll tell you what, when I first started recycling, I got so many referrals, word of mouth, not only for the transformers, but for something else I did, which I've never put on this channel. I never told you about it. Some things you got to keep secret, but that's the reason I have an EPA number. Um, when you have that, you're in a, um, it's something that is beneficial for an electrician. I've had that car up to 154 mile an hour. Yeah, that's limited, man. That's a 200 mile an hour super saloon, dude. If the limiter's off, it'll hit 200. There's videos of people on the autobahn with them cars running it right up to 200 mile an hour and just holding it there. Um, that car, that Mercedes, the AMG, it's got better suspension, bigger brakes, way powerful engine. They got 500 horsepower. Um, it's made for the autobahn. Um, I've set cruise control at 150 mile an hour. And this guy slowing down from 130 to 97 is kind of a big deal. That thing's got brakes as big as my F350. It's got 8 piston front calipers. It's you can make it from Boca to Miami in 15 minutes. Yeah. um, do you have a scrappers management course? It's a legit business and you need a staff, interns. What? Is there a college degree to do this? Nah, man, there ain't no college degree to do this. Not that I know of. I I I kind of took to it like a duck to water because I was already in demolition for 10 years. And like an idiot, probably for 9 of them, I had no idea that metal, you could get paid for metal. Do you know how many buildings I've demoed or how many times I've cut through copper pipe or copper wire? Um, Bridges. You know how many bridges I've demoed? You know how much copper goes through a bridge to power the other side of this A lot of times they run the copper in big pipes underneath, and they disconnect it. They run temporary power. All that copper that's in the pipes, we're cutting that bridge up in big pieces so they can crane it. I remember seeing wads. I mean, like, just so much copper. Towards the end, I got savvy to it, and I was pulling all that copper out. But I watched for years the copper go right in the dumpster. I didn't know, The life of a full-time scrapper is never easy. No, not if you're like I kind of find like the people that go out and they just, I guess you could call them scrap hunters. They're just looking for scrap on the side of the road or random things. I always thought that was crazy, man, because like I always had customers where I knew there was going to be a lot of high value stuff when I showed up, like just setting out in the day and hitting dumpsters or look, I don't know how else you would get the scrap, but to me that always never made sense to me. It's almost like gambling. Like, are you going to burn more gas today than you're going to make in scrap, picking up stuff off the side of the road? But I see them guys at the scrap yard, man, piled up with stuff, I'm always wondering, like, where's all this shit coming from? Anything you want to succeed in takes hard work. Yeah. Dude, you should have seen me in the beginning, man. I had printed out because maps were a map is expensive to buy. So I printed out section by section off of Google Maps, South Florida, and I put it on this big board on my wall. And I got these big giant thumbtacks, and I'd number the thumbtack with like whiteout, right? It was big blue thumbtacks. I'll never forget this. And each customer, I had a number, and I had files, each county. I had all my customers by county, and I would do all counties 1 week at a time, and like the West Coast was the end of the month or whatever it was. But I had all the counties in these files, and I would do every county. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to be in this county for 2 or 3 days. So I call everybody and try to schedule, okay, I'm going to be here. If I couldn't get to a guy on a Monday, I'd be in that area pretty much for 2 days, and I can get them either in the evening, the morning, or the next day. And I remember having these big thumbtacks, and then I knew where everybody was, and I would kind of set my course, and I'd call everybody. Like, I was so organized. It was crazy. And now, like in the beginning, I called everybody, and everybody was on a schedule. Now, my phone rings, like I don't call anybody. And I need to kind of get back to where I was in the beginning. I kind of got lazy, I guess you could call it. But in the beginning, man, I had my routes, I had my customers, everybody. I called everybody ahead of time, like the day before, to let them know I was going to be in the area. I can come by, what would be a good time, and I'd schedule everybody. And yeah, it was like a well-oiled machine kind of there for a while. You don't want to go 200 mile an hour? Man, I'd love to hit 200. 65 in an open go-kart. They got a high-end go-kart track down here I've been wanting to go to. They got 2 different carts. To get to the fast, super fast ones, excuse me, you have to qualify. You have to do really good. They watch you on the slower ones. If you do good enough, they'll let you get on the super fast ones. Yeah, all right, man. You driven on the Autobahn back in the 60s? If you got stuck in the outside lane, you would never get out. 40 mile an hour. I know the Autobahn, there's like some of it's restricted and then there's unrestricted. I like it's crazy going from driving my truck and then getting in that car. Man, it's like floating on a cloud. And then just the response of the supercharger, dude, it's like, it's a night and day, man. It's crazy. All right, guys. Man, I've been on here for 3 hours. I was only going to go like 2 hours and strip this wire, but I'm going to finish this up tomorrow. And I got a guy coming by. He said he had a bunch of electrical gear they're pulling out. I don't know if it's a one-time deal or I've done stuff with this guy before in the past where they did a whole community, and it was a ton of stuff, man. Matter of fact, that's where I got that 1,000 amp breaker from, man. We did 20 buildings. Each building had a 1,000 amp main and 1,000 amp units, and then all the 500 M feeders, the 500 MCM feeders, man. That was awesome. But I'll probably have a regular video tomorrow. So unfortunately, we didn't get to strip all the stuff, but I will make a video because I got a bunch of spools, and we are going to go through this spaghetti over here. Then I gotta clear the table. You see the mess I made on the table over there? I mean, we made some money. That's just all clean copper, man. You just gotta pick it up. I love that stuff, dude. For the most part, I got down into that smaller stuff. I needed to adjust the machine, but for the most part, that probably made my money back. I paid $700. Matter of fact, I will make a video tomorrow. We'll see how much I get out of that. I paid $700, and I got about $80 in diesel I spent, plus my lunch. So let's just say I'm $800 into this, and we'll see what we get out of it. So thank you guys for coming on. I can't believe it's 2:30 in the morning. I guess I do talk too much, as everybody in my life says, and some people on YouTube. Thank you all for coming by. What's up, Empire Finds? I think we're getting out of here, man. Thanks, Silverlicious, and my mom and Michael, Fox, everybody that came by, Scrapping on the Fly, Brian. Let me know what you guys think about that video I showed you. And if you want to see more of it, I'll try to get the screen sharing so you can actually see not just a video of it, like the actual video. But I don't talk too much. Tell that to my girlfriend. She went out to a cigar bar and got drunk, so she's passed out right now. And she doesn't even know I did a live stream. She likes to get on here and make sure I don't talk too much. She always tells me I'm going too long. So anyway, thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Appreciate the guys that donated. I really appreciate that. And even if y'all can't donate, man, just watching the videos helps me immensely. And I always try and give you guys the best information I can and the best quality videos. So definitely stay tuned. I got some nice things coming for you guys. Thank you all. Have a great night. Good morning for some of y'all. And we'll see you soon.